Hey guys, how's it going? Welcome back to the channel. Welcome back for a new video. If you're here for the first time, my name is Francesco. I make minimal house music as distilled noise, and on this channel I share my journey, I share tips, tutorials, plugins you must use, etc. So if you are interested in this topic, consider subscribing to the channel. Try to hit the bell if you want to stay updated, because I'm not saying every Monday there's a video, every Tuesday there's a video. When the video is out, if you click on the bell, you'll be notified so you know when it's out. In this video, I want to share a few of the plugins that I use a lot in my productions, and those plugins are discounted for the Black Friday. So I think it's the right time to get them. Most of them are for half of the price, so very interesting occasion to buy them. I will put all the links in the description. Most of the links, not everyone, but most of the links are affiliated, so if you are buying them, you're also supporting what I do for the same price, because you don't pay more money. It's just the company that gives me a small percentage of what you pay. So without further ado, let's get started with the video. So the first plugin, or better collection, that I want to show you is a collection that I've already widely told about in one of my videos. It's the Arturia Collection, V Collection, Vintage Collection. I just took the chance to upgrade to the version 8, the new version, with these discounts. So if you're still on the 7, or if you still don't have Arturia V Collection, I think is the good moment to have it. So I just want to show you some of the examples, some new examples from the new instruments included in the version 8. So as you can see, I have mostly instances of Arturia Analog Lab, which is included in the V Collection just because it includes all the presets from the single instruments from the Arturia V Collection. You can then open the single instrument and tweak it a little bit. Otherwise, you can be happy with how it's set and keep it as it is. So for example, this sound from the vocoder, which I found in the Arturia Analog Lab. So if I wanted to edit it, I could just go here, but here you don't have much freedom. But I can also open the original plugin, and that's it. So I can now tweak all the knobs that I want just to adjust the sound to my taste. This you can't do if you don't have the Arturia V Collection. You can buy Arturia Analog 5 alone, but you can just go through the preset, you can modify them if you want to. You can just use these macro controls, which are very limited in most of the cases. So this is the sound that I use here as a sort of vocoder effect. It just gives a nice touch. Then let's see this melody again with the Analog Lab. I don't remember which synth I used. Yeah, that's the OBX, which is one of my favorite from the new adds to the Arturia Collection 8. So my workflow right now is every time I need a new sound, opening the Arturia Analog Lab 5, looking for presets, find something that is close to my taste, open the instrument, and then maybe change some of the things. But it's very quick to find good stuff rather than looking for single instruments. Let's check this sound. This is what I used for the melody here. Last one from the Arturia Analog Lab, but it's sold separately. So if you have Analog Lab and Arturia V Collection, you can use the presets of Pigments 3, but it's not a plugin that is included as a single instrument inside the Arturia V Collection. But this is discounted as well. It's very cheap as a starting price, and now on Plugin Boutique it's 50% off. I've already made a video about Pigments as well. I will show you something up here. so you can watch it if you want. So let's take a look at some of those presets. I also created this, which is a sort of melodic sound that I created with many different effects, and this is how it sounds in the track. Now I want to take the chance to talk about another plugin that I use a lot. This is one of my favorite plugins. I'm not affiliated to native instruments, so I have no gain talking about this, but I wouldn't be honest if I don't tell you about Guitar Rig 6, which is also discounted 50%, so it's just there for about 99 euros on Native Instruments website. The name can trick you because it looks like it's made for guitars, but it actually can be applied to everything you want. So for example, in this sound I have two instances of Guitar Rig 6 because I also like to combine the effect of multiple presets. So let's check the sounds without it. Okay, let's check it with it. So it has this filtering and distortion that is very light, but this is nothing because for example, on the sounds that I created for my electric piano sample packs, I've used a lot Guitar Rig 6 and it changed so much the sound. It completely shaped them and gave them new life. So this sound here that is by itself very dry again. I turn it into this. There are a lot of different effects modules, and the cool thing here is that you can choose also effects types and filter all the presets that you have. So for example, I want a modulation type of effect and I can choose it. So it's really crazy. Grain shifter. Now let's talk about the first product, the first collection of plugins that I want to talk about, which is the Soundtoys bundle. It's another set of effects that I really use a lot in my tracks, and again, this is discounted on Plugin Boutique for the Black Friday, so again, it's worth taking a look. So talking about Soundtoys, I bought it during the first periods of the pandemic, but I just bought the effect rack. So this is the version where you have all the effects but included in a rack. But the offer that you find on Plugin Boutique, it includes all the effects. The effects that are included are many. There are very nice effects. For example, Decapitator, you probably have already heard about it. It's a very nice saturation plugin. Echo Boy is a very nice delay plugin. But there are some that I really like. For example, Crystallizer is one of my favorite, and I'm using it in this sound here. So let's check the track 1 second. This is a remix that I made for MA, which will be out on Framed Realities very, very soon. So here I use the Crystallizer to add richness to this pad sound. So you can hear this richness on the higher frequency, which is added by Crystallizer actually. So if I switch it off, very simple. You can also consider trying the other effects. For example, I really like the Filter Freak. It's basically a filter that activates when the sound goes in, and you set the threshold you want and then the input. So it can be like from very low and open up. So it moves, but it has two filters, so you can also split them in two regions of the frequency. And of course, all these effects have a bunch of presets that you can try and experiment with, so to get really crazy. Another one that I really like, and I use a lot to shape my sounds from time to time, is Phase Mistress. Again, it can have some very, very interesting effects, especially in the rhythmic session. So in conclusion, never overlook the power of effects and of their presets to change sounds. Sometimes we start with a preset from an instrument that we're not really sure about it, but when we add this kind of effects like Soundtoys, like Guitar Rig, they can really add more to the sound. They can really change it in a pleasant way, and we could find that lucky sound that we really like and that fits perfectly with the track. So these are just some of the effects, but there are many more. I can't go through every one of them, but believe me, this is a great tool for creativity. Next, I want to talk about a collection of effects that I use for mixing and mastering, and I'm talking about iZotope products. So this is the bundle I'm talking about. It's called Music Production Suite 4.1 and Iris Tube bundle. Iris Tube is a synthesizer, so you get also a synthesizer with the bundle. What do we find inside? We find Neoverb, which is the reverb. We find Nectar, which is mainly thought for vocals. RX9 standard is for cleaning records. So if you have a vinyl record, rip or resample material that you want to clean to use in your tracks, that could be a nice tool. It can also isolate instruments and vocals from the records, so it's a very powerful tool. Ozone 9, which is what I was going to talk about. Then we have Neutron Advanced, Neutron 3 Advanced. The difference between Neutron and Ozone is that Neutron is more thought for mixing, so for applying on single tracks, single instruments and sound, while Ozone is thought for mastering. Then we have Inside 2, which is what I was going to talk about also. A very, very powerful meter. You can take a look to a lot of different parameters of your track. And then Tonal Balance, which is another great tool again for checking your mix, for checking your frequency distribution of your master, of your mix, and see if everything sits in the right place. So again, another great plugin that I use quite a lot. So now let's jump into my project. I want to show you what I use in my master chain. So usually in my master chain, I have an EQ, a compressor, another EQ, and then finally a limiter. Now, if you are one of those guys who still don't have a lot of different effects because couldn't invest too much money on different effects, I think this bundle, which comes discounted on Plugin Boutique, can be the solution because it has everything you need. You just need that one and you can do everything. So now, for example, I'm just using the limiter in this track. I'm not using other EQing because it's just a rough master that I wasn't doing. But Ozone 9 comes also with Ozone 9 alone, which means it contains every one of the effects from Ozone 9. So I can create the whole chain for the mastering just inside here. So I can create, for example, the first plugin that I want is an equalizer, and I want just to attenuate some of the low frequencies and to boost some on the highs. I might want a vintage compressor just to control everything, and I want it just after the equalizer, so I can start compressing a little bit, couple dBs. You see them here. Selecting the ratio to 1 maybe. Okay, then I might want another EQ, or I don't know, a vintage limiter instead of the maximizer. I want something which sounds more vintage, more you know, gentler, more, okay. So you see it's very slow in the way it acts. Maybe this is too much. Just do a little bit of this. You can see there is compression happening, and then I put the real maximizer, so I can give another couple of dBs of loudness, compressing just a little bit. Okay, this is how you see that you can do everything with just plugins, with just one plugin. You don't need other plugins, you don't need waves, you don't need fuzz filters. So you know, iZotope is a very complete bundle. Then I have In-Situ. I use it to check the stereo field most of the times. I see if I have anti-phase problems. I can see the levels, I can see what is the RMS of my track, I can see the loudness indicators, so LUFS, max LUFS, these things that are used for streaming platforms. You can also set the target if you want. For example, for Netflix, it tells you where you should sit at, but this is not something that I use, so I don't really know how to read it. But what I use most is this level, sound field, and maybe spectrum analyzer. The tonal balance that we just saw in the bundle is this plugin that I use to see where my spectrum sits at. So you can select kind of the genre, which in our case can be bass heavy, let's say, and I see if the curve sits inside this range that is like set as a preset. Now you don't have to trust too much this, because most of the times a well-mixed track still has this dip around these frequencies, and a lot of times it goes a little bit higher here in the lower side, but on average we are inside this range. So to me it says, okay, we are in the right region. And if you see things that you don't like in the spectrum that you think are not good, you can go boosting some of these frequencies or attenuating some of them. These are all effects which are included in that 300 euros offer that you find on Plugin Boutique, and is something that, again, if you don't have lot of different effects from different companies and you want just buy something that is the most complete thing with the less money, this is for sure the best option you have. So the last tool that I want to show you is a tool for production, for music production, and specifically to create all those sort of modular sound for your backgrounds. It's a tool made by my friend from Abstract Sound. It's great with doing these kind of things, these kind of drum racks that serve for these purposes of making things quicker instead of selecting all the single sounds by yourself and creating, you know, spending hours on creating backgrounds and modular glitches. So he prepared a drum rack that allows you to instantly add this kind of texture in your track. He created a discount offer with the code ASDN20, and you can buy it for... I didn't have the time to test it out in my own tracks, so I will just show you what you can do with the demo project that comes with the drum rack. So this is just a MIDI clip with different MIDIs. The rack has these 6 different pads with different samples. Every pad basically is playing a loop, and it's playing it in different positions of the loop. This is not the only thing that is changing, because we have also other parameters that are actually moving. If you see, there is this randomized decay, and so let's play. So this is how it sounds right now, which is already fine. As you can see, you place notes, but every time you play it, it plays a different sample, a different part of the loop. So you can just throw in some MIDI notes in the MIDI clip and see what happens. Now, since Ableton 11 introduced the randomizer button here, that can be a very interesting thing to try. So let's check it out. You can see how much things changes. I mostly love it when you take down the pitch, so the tuning. Okay, something like that. And this is very useful to create background percussive elements like I really like to do. So let's just throw a drum loop just to see how this sounds. So this is the drum loop alone. And this is with the... So you can see it adds something. That's so nice. So guys, try it out. You find it on Bandcamp. Of course, I put the link in the description. When you download it, when you purchase it, you don't receive the rack, you receive a PDF, you open it, so you find the link to download the package. Don't text me that you don't find anything in the pack. Read the PDF and you find out how to download it. So guys, these are how many? Are quite a lot of plugins, sound devices that I use every time in my productions and that I really enjoy using. So there are very good discounts in this period. If you are saving to buy something, this is exactly the right time to buy them. You find all the links in the description. I hope this video has been helpful or inspiring, and I'll see you in the next one. Cheers guys, have a nice day.